I'm sorry, my computer's acting hella crazy right now. This bitch is mad. Okay, so, okay. All right, back to it. Talking about sexuality. Sexuality, again, whatever you're attracted to, but you define what your sexuality is. And as I was saying before, people have this problem where if you are not telling them that you're straight, or rather, if you're not straight, you need to tell them that you are not straight. That there's like this idea, and I'm not trying to shit on the coming out movement. I think that it's relevant. However, I think that coming out, in a way, is kind of like an aggrandizing way of letting you know that forever people will fucking like ask you like really dehumanizing things and like will fucking assume shit about you just from your demeanor or the way that you're acting. I think that in one way, me coming out in terms of saying that I'm a bigender person is kind of irrelevant, given the fact that, while I am a bigender person, me coming out isn't really like necessary, considering that there are so many people in my life that are like, or rather, I don't want to say it's irrelevant, but it's more so that I'm going to be coming out for the rest of my life. So I hate the fact that like some people are like, oh, I came out this time, or because it's like I'm constantly coming out. You feel me? Like I'm constantly, like almost every day I'm coming out. So I hate the idea of coming out because it's more so like people asking me questions that are like very fucking shitty, or just assuming things about me. And I want to just like kind of get into those things. When people ask me things like, so are you a man or a woman? I think what people want to know is, do I have a vagina or do I want a penis? And it couldn't be more thinly veiled, but I think that it's just funny that like people will be like, oh, I've been watching your videos for this long, I didn't know you were trans. And I understand that like being a non-binary trans person, aka being not a trans woman or a trans man, aka someone that's not interested in transitioning, or rather has nothing to transition into. My gender uh, ID is more about how I feel, and I think that for so long I was like, I have like this masculine feel. Oh, yo, my computer is bugging. Oh my god, Joe. Okay, so I have this like masculine feeling, or rather, like I remember I would be dating people and they'd be like, I'd be dating like dudes, I'd be dating cis dudes, and they would be like, yo, you're mad dude-ish, or they'd be like, oh, yo, you be acting like a dude, like, and like that was true, but like not really, because like I think like once you decide to identify as um bigender, I think that that's when you really realize like how stupid gender is. And I feel bad for anyone who's bigender who like is loving it, but I don't feel like that's really like what's happening. I feel like most bigender people hate it because you really don't know how you're gonna feel about anything, about your body, about other people, about who you're with. It's really been interesting, I would have to say, considering the fact that, my partner, like when my partner met me, I was cooperating with being a woman. I was cooperating with assuming, femininity and femininity only. And, or rather, I was cooperating as a cis female. And I realized after we had been dating for a while that that wasn't like working for me, and that I really needed to be able to transition, or rather be able to not be a woman. I needed to be able for him to understand that I wasn't a woman, and for him to understand that like the idea of being a woman was like so much. Like it's just so much. And I think it's always been so much for me. I think there were so many things that I just wasn't comfortable with my body, and I know for a fact that if I don't I don't know, like I was with a friend this spring, and we were out together, and we had a conversation, and they said that if they weren't fat, that they would probably transition. And like And like I totally understand that idea. I think sometimes when I think about um, being more masculine appearing, having more masculine behavior. I often think about how I'm translating in my fat female body, and if if I'm gonna be able to pass per se, but also I get like really worried about just being a black man, or being perceived as a black man in a society that is very racist against black men. So there's also that, like, so there's so many factors in terms of like how I identify and like who I am, and how I look even, I know that like when I'm dressed like this, it's like non-threatening, and I think sometimes I do it because it's just easier than like dressing the way I would want to dress, and I'm trying to like really like work on that and really accept the times that femme would be easiest, but it's just not possible because it doesn't make me feel good. And I think it's just really, really more about listening to myself and just being honest with what I want, and what I need. And as I was saying, my partner has been like really awesome, like since I came out to them and told them that I was bigender. But I know that I think like the thing that bothers me about how they kind of have taken it is I think that they think that when I'm having like my boy days, that like they're gay, like because they're still attracted to me. And I told them, I was like, no, I was like, you define, your sexuality, like if you're attracted to me while, I'm having a boy day and I'm appearing as more masculine, that's up to you to decide whether or not, you feel like you're gay or might be queer or might be sexually fluid, but I think that our relationship doesn't define that for you. I would say that, you define that to you and for you. And I think that that's something that he's like trying to work through right now, which is real, I think if I was a cis hetero dude and I was dating someone who I thought was like, a super femme person, and then they told me that like they have a need, it is imperative to their life that they express however they want to, however that falls on the gender scale. And I think or whatever scale that is, but wherever they fall gender expression wise, that I would support them. And I think it would be hard at first for me, but I think because I am a bigender person, I don't think it would be hard for me to accept someone who's bigender. But I could understand, as I was trying to say, if I was like a cis hetero person who like assumed that their sexuality was hetero, would feel challenged by their partner no longer appearing to be the cis female person that they had met and started dating. But he realizes that's his own shit to unpack, and that like as we are together, we obviously have to talk about that shit and like just try and figure out ways for both of us to be comfortable and be happy in our relationship. um I mean, so far so good. As good as it can be. I think it's something that we're working on. So that's all I can really say about our relationship. I mean, like we had a good day, so that's bomb. Um, but I don't know. I feel like they're just like really sad because I'm like going to New York soon and then going on a road trip for like ever. So I think that they think just I'm not gonna come back, and I feel bad because like I love them. But I so need to like get out of town and just be someone else, if that makes any sense. Like, like when you go to a new place, you just don't even feel like you. It's like you're you, but like you're more adventurous, more open. And I just feel like I just want to be connecting with people right now and not be like working so much because like I'm doing so much work and just trying to get things all squared away before I go. So kind of sucks. But back to actually no, I'm gonna take a little break. I'm gonna take a sip of my drink and then I'm gonna powder my nose. So we're gonna take like 1 minute, not even probably, but we're gonna take 1 minute. Okay. Okay. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I love you too, Rick. Y'all are sweet. So talking about gender, you know, I think I think it's fun, I think the thing is, like, whenever I'm dressed like as a boy, I don't even like that's not even me. You know what I mean? Like when I'm dressed like really masculine, that's not Trent. Like I'm Trent right now, like I'm always Trent, but like I'm really trying to figure out like what kind of boy I look like, and I don't even know, cause like I really don't have that many boy clothes, and like every time I go to look for boy clothes, they all just look so stupid. I'm just like, I don't want to look like a stupid guy, and it's just like this totally ridiculous situation. Um, but yeah, every time I go shopping for boy clothes, it's just like it's real bad. So I've been recently just like repurposing my girl clothes, and or rather the girl clothes that are as gender neutral as possible, and just trying to like work with those. Um but yo, I don't know. Like I want to be a dapper dude, but it's like really expensive to be a dapper dude. Like right now, I have like one pair. That's not true. I shouldn't say that. But I don't know. I don't know. Like I have like one pair of boy shoes. Like I don't even know. I think it's and I think that also falls in line with the whole like I'm not queering enough, I'm not bigender enough. Like people who find out labels to their identities later in life, they have this like hang up that it's not real or like everything fits but it just doesn't feel right to like call it what it is. And I think that, that's valid. I think you get a lot of like rad scum people who, or true scum people, rather, who feel like, you know, they're, trans people and you're not a trans person because XYZ, or you're not trans enough, or, like people were really mean to me, like when I first came out saying that I was trans because I thought I was a I thought I was genderqueer, but I wasn't calling myself that just yet. I was just calling myself trans. But then I realized that I was like a I was a non-binary gender person, meaning that like, I just move around. Like that's who I am. But I do agree with you, Miranda. I do think that it is part of the journey, and I think that what's so great about it is like there was someone who reached out to me, and this is like one of my like best friends. Like they're like just a sweet person. They're like my family. My friend Indy was like, they were like, Tati, they were like, if you feel like you're trans and then you don't, and then you do and then you don't, it's valid. And I was like, I appreciate that, because like you sometimes need someone to like tell you some shit that you like feel but like you don't believe just yet. Sometimes like there are things that like we just need reinforced, like, and I think that has a lot to do with like positive reinforcement too, like things that like make you feel better, just because someone just reminded you. It's like sometimes the shit, you just don't have it all together. um I don't know. It's just like really shitty. But I was gonna come here and be messy, but then I was like, I don't know. But then I was like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna go be messy. I don't know if it's really messy. I'm just like talking about a situation with someone that like I wish I could be friends with. But actually, like every time I think about having this conversation, it's like there's no point, because it's like they were not a good friend to me. Like that's point blank what it is. Like I think sometimes people get caught up. Like I think especially if you smoke weed, people get caught up. They think because this person smokes weed with you that they're your fucking homie, buddy, whatever. But I'm telling you, I've shared a blunt with some motherfuckers before. That was not me. Okay? Like they was not my homies. All right, I'm telling you. Yeah, yo, I know. I'm like, I just got sad because I was just thinking about my friend, or rather my old friend, because I think like sometimes when you smoke, you know, um, you feel like you could bonding with somebody, but like that's not always what it is. You could smoke with anybody. And some people it'll be a good time, and other people it'll be weird. Some people it'll be terrible. But it doesn't mean that that's your people's. You know what I mean? I think like people need to get their standards up in terms of like what is a good friend, partner, associate, whatever the fucking word you want to use. Like it's important. Um, but man, I like I said, you can smoke some weed with anybody, and like that does not mean that they're a real ride or die friend for you. Most niggas are not dying for people these days. So I mean, just saying. um but where was I going? Oh yeah, but as I was saying, me and this person, like, from jump, like from the first day that I met them, I knew that they were like my homie. And that was mainly because like I have like this like fucked up sense where I feel sometimes like shit is fate, but like sometimes shit is not fate. Like sometimes I feel like shit is so like wonderful with somebody or like going in the right place. Sour Villager, you're funny. That was a knee slapper. um but like in this whole situation, like I'm just annoyed because like this person was not like a good friend to me, but like we did smoke hella weed together, so it was like I was always like being like, yo, but we smoke, you know what I mean? Exactly. I'm telling you, I vibed. I'm telling you, I vibed with somebody that I smoked with so hard. I thought that this person was my family, and they weren't, you know? So I'm no longer using the weed as a tool to figure out who's cool people. Cause like really, like I said, people have smoked a blunt with me one day, stabbed a blunt through my back the next. So I really don't know what to do. And that was such a waste of weed. I do agree you ain't ready for Nettie. That is a great fucking name, by the way. Great fucking name. Alright, I'm gonna go powder my nose real quick. They not catching me on film doing nothing. I'm good though. I don't need anybody to smoke with me, but I appreciate it, Geechee. I appreciate. Um. So what the fuck was I about to say? Um. Oh yeah, I was telling you about my friend. Child. They were just like not a good friend, you feel me? Like they just weren't a good friend. And like I remember like I was like walking down the street with them and they were just talking about dumb shit, you feel me? Like we were walking down the street and they were telling me some shit about how black people need to be accountable for what they do and da da da. But the thing is, that's the thing though. That's actually the fucking thing. Like when I have a dark skinned black woman look at me in my fucking face and telling me that black people need to take accountability, it's like, what accountability? It's like, do you realize that like nigger is the nigger of the world? Like, don't you see that shit? You know what I mean? And then I realized, gotta be intersectional with this shit. This is a dark skinned black woman, from a different part from the Northeast, so dealing with that Northeast cool casual racism, right? Um, and who was middle class, upper middle class too, like had houses and stuff, didn't grow up upper middle class but became that way, and became that way so motherfucking quickly. I'm telling you, that money will turn you, girl. But came up so quickly that she really really just saw herself as a other, you know? And like, here's my thing. I think like anyone who uses King's English has been, or rather anyone who can code switch, which is most black people, and we know how to code switch because of white supremacy. Niggas only know how to talk two different ways because white people got them talking two different motherfucking ways. Cause white people will tell you some shit, but niggas will fucking know some shit. You feel me? And there's some like that's why like African American vernacular English, African American vernacular English was born out of necessity, okay? Because white people wanted to tell us one motherfucking thing when we knew what the fuck it really was. And then you gotta just listen to like the fucking you just gotta listen to the dialect of African vernacular, African American vernacular English. Cause don't it sound like a nigga is telling you something when they talking like this? Don't it sound like they giving you a motherfucking message? Okay, like that shit is fucking important. You feel me? It's importance. Okay, so don't forget that shit. Code switching is 100% fucking in response to white people taking over shit. Niggas still have shit. That's what kills me. So as I was saying, I had that conversation with this dark skinned black woman, and she's telling me that like black people were like the meanest to her, and like the only people that have ever said anything about her skin color. And again, I'm not trying to take accountability from these people that have shamed my friend, that have like used shadeism. Um, uh, you know, to hurt my friend. But the thing that was killing me was like, don't you see where this is coming from though? You know what I mean? Like, she was really trying to assert that black people decided that dark skinned black people aren't worth shit, when that's not the fucking case. But being complicit in that shit ain't nothing to motherfucking brag about, or rather nothing to think lightly of. Being complicit in shadeism is just as fucked up, if not more. Because if you know what the fuck is going on and you ain't saying nothing just because you ain't doing it, don't mean shit to me. Okay, being complicit in any kind of shit is definitely something that you can't just sit there and act like you're clean. Your hands is clean and shit. So you know what I mean? Like it kills me sometimes talking to some people because they really have drank the Kool-Aid. They really drink the Kool-Aid. They really think that the white man is pouring them fucking Kool-Aid, and it's Crystal Light. It's Crystal Light, bitch, and you could tell because it got that twang. Okay, but I'm gonna be real with you. Like, I just it kills me because like I said, this is a dark skinned black woman. Like, I really felt like I had found a friend. Me and her, we used to cut jokes. You feel me? We used to be like Tasty and Poussey, son. That was my real life. Like, having just like a friend that was smart as fuck, who always like, she was Poussey, I was Tasty. You feel me? Always just cracking jokes, being silly. You know, keeping the spirits up. But she always kind of brought me back down, kept me down to earth. But at the same time, you know, she still didn't. And like, that's another thing too. Malcolm said it too. Malcolm was like, don't judge a man because he ain't where you at. Don't try to shit on people who don't got the fucking, who ain't read the books you read, who ain't fucking found the words you found. You are not better than nobody, and that's not what the fuck I'm trying to say at all. This person was like my equal to the fucking max. Like, if anything, man, I thought that they were like so bomb. Like, I don't want to say that they were above me, but I just thought like I had shit to learn from them. And I think that's a humbling place to be in any friendship, where you feel like you can learn something from another motherfucker. Because a lot of these friendships out here, you ain't learning shit from nobody. But some people, you realize that like they got a skill, or they're like their manner or their way is just something that you want to kind of take some pointers from. And this was definitely someone that I just really felt close to. You know, she was definitely a witch. You know, I definitely felt like she was just a witchy person. And I love witchy people. There's so many witchy people out there in the world. So many people who don't think that they're witchy neither, which is funny because some people are so witchy and like they don't even realize it. And I met so many natural witches in New Orleans like recently. It was so wild. Oh my god, bitch. Tower Villager just said it's not Crystal Light, it's Mio. I'm fucking dead. Yes. Y'all see how they got Tracy Morgan selling Mio to the people? That shit is poison, child. Don't drink none of that meal shit. I don't trust them. They over here talking about some customize your drink. Bitch, get your ass some Kool-Aid if you want it. Stop it. Stop letting these white people trick you. Because who the fuck gonna want, like, you seen how they got, like, you pour, like, 1 drop of Mio or 8 drops of Mio. It's like, who the fuck want 1 drop of Mio? No tea. But it's like, bitch, I don't want no drops. But anyways, going back to my friend, you know, I really, I really just appreciated her. I really thought she was awesome. And she was trying to get into tarot, and like I was like hating on her low key a little bit at one point, and I was being so annoying. Like, you know, she asked me if she could do tarot, and like honestly I was falling on hard times a little bit, so I didn't really want to see a bitch shine like more than me, and I just had like I just felt like I was jealous of her. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I was jealous of her. I just felt like her whole demeanor, like her whole like talk, like her whole like way like around people was just like really awesome. And I really just enjoyed it. I just enjoyed so much like what was I just saying? I was jealous of her because of just like how she was, you know, just to other people, and like other people just really liked her, and plus she was like an amazing singer, and she was just really cool. You know what I mean? Like it just like she was just effortlessly cool. But I think like that's like the allure of like a new person. You know what I mean? I think like when you first meet someone, they they usually have um their representative out. Like they're not even like a lot of times people are not themselves. Like you'll meet like this very reserved, poised person. Not me. Like unless I think like you're really cute, I'm gonna just be like crazy me. But if I think you're cute, I'm gonna try to be like, you know, less wild, out of control me, and I'm gonna just be like, oh, you know, huh, like try and be like real, like super femme, depending on how I feel. Depending on how I feel, I think like when I'm around people that are more like femme, I think if I am feeling like more mask, I think that like I have a way of like I don't even know. I can't even like I don't even like talking about like my I was I don't like talking about my personas like when I hit on people because it's like it's very weird sometimes. Like I think that for the most part, I think like as a femme person, I've learned like how to take charge of like cis dudes and like use like my femininity to kind of like command shit and like, you know, use it for whatever. But I think that like being like a boy like is very perplexing at times because I don't ever want to be like overpowering anyone, or rather I'm just like very aware of like what it means to be like a masculine person and like what privilege that comes with if I'm able to pass. um so I don't really want to be like bugging like or rather be pressing on people, because I feel like unfortunately a lot of times people do expect like dudes to like approach them. So I feel like when you're someone who's like gender variant, I think that's when people don't even know. I think that people are even more like kind of like they kind of more want you to approach them, but like I think that it can be hard because like you it's like who even likes me? You know what I mean? But then, you know, I don't know. I think like I just go between like being like really interested in someone and then being like completely terrified of like them actually being interested in me. Exactly, not so thin Lizzy. It's like you're seeing the highlight reel, like the good parts of that person. They're like on like stage right now. Yeah, Miranda, yes. You ain't ready for Nettie. That's awesome that you're in New Orleans. I love New Orleans. It's my favorite place ever. Yeah, natural witches. Oh my god, bitch. Can I tell y'all? Let me tell y'all about this natural witch that I met. It was amazing. She was I woke up one morning and I was like, I want to build a fire pit. I was like, I want to have a fire. I want to have a breakfast that I cook on a flame. And everybody was like, do it, do it, do it. And I was like, I'm going to go do it. And I dug a big hole, and it took me not even that long. I was like digging, and I made like a little rock circle around it, and it was so beautiful. I really just like I put so much time in it, and I was like really dirty afterwards, and it felt like really good because like I don't really like actively participate in getting dirty. That's really not something I mean like as like a super femme person majority of the time. I'm very concerned about not getting dirty. Like that's what sucks is like I'm very messy, but like I feel like when I'm like dressed as a femme person, that's when like I'm on like I feel like when I'm dressed like this is so drag to me, to be honest with you. Like I definitely don't feel um like what I look like right now is me. I feel like this is like a character I'm playing in a way, and I feel like it's kind of hilarious, like in a way, but also kind of like Twilight Zone a little bit, because it's like people know me like this, like people have seen me like this, but I take all this stuff off and then I marvel in like what's left, but like I also feel like this is like a big part of me and like something that I really like, but it's just interesting, I suppose. You know? I don't know. It's like it's so much. There's so much to unpack there because I think it has so much to do with like beauty standards and like growing up a fat person who really was never. I was coerced to be femme, or rather, like I was female coerced for a very long time, socialized as a female person. However, there were so many times where I was like bucking at that like gender um, norm, and I was like wearing things that were not specific to femme people or masculine people. I was very much like wearing things that I felt like were just non-gendered clothing. But I think that like looking back, like before I kind of really understood language a little better. I was just like so concerned with like no longer being like the butch version of myself and like finally like graduating into the woman version of myself. And like this is like what I thought would be like the woman version of myself, because I think that like as a female socialized person, like I'm like taught like I'm like fucking like like how when they have like the Barbies, they have like the baby Barbie and then like the Skipper and then like Barbie, and I always felt like I was Skipper and I was always needing to get to Barbie, and that's crazy, right? Um so I mean that's like a whole nother thing. But getting back to like meeting witches. I wanted to. I built this fire pit, right? But I was so shit at like getting good wood because it had rained like 2 days prior, so none of the wood was really dry. So we started like a little fire made out of like mostly paper, to kind of dry out a lot of the wood. And eventually we started to put wood in the fire, and it started to light up, and get like really warm, and there was like oh, really, I'm sorry, my computer's crazy sometimes. Um, so, like, for real, my computer will turn on some shit, like, out of nowhere. It'll fucking stop a show. Like, this, I don't even know. Like, I don't want to say it's possessed. I don't want to go that far. But there's something wrong with it. I'm not sure what. I just don't want to bother it and, like, make it mad. But, anyways, so built this fire, couldn't keep it going, and Ribri, I posted a video of this person actually like playing. They played my bedroom. Like I had a huge bedroom in New Orleans, and it was so cute, and I loved it. But Ribri, got their guitar and like played in my bedroom, and it was so wonderful. It was like the most beautiful time of my life because like I went out to a really good dinner with like all of my family, and when we got home, we were like hanging out, putting on fake nails, and like about to go get wasted and like go act crazy, and go be super silly in the city, and it was really exciting. But anyways, so Ribri, is amazing. Like Ribri talks to animals and like gets them to like be their friend, and is just an amazing person in general. No, my computer just sang pensando, which means thinking of you, I believe. I think thinking pensando. Yeah, I think that means thinking. I was singing a song in Spanish, but like I thought it sounded dumb. Like I thought it just sounded really bad. So I was like, I don't really want anyone to hear that. And then of course my computer is like kind of crazy and like just definitely just turned on a song of me singing a song in Spanish. So yeah, there's that. But anyways, so that's like kind of ridiculous. I thought my fucking computer just sang Sambo. Like that's fucking out of control, but like hilarious. Um, so Ribri talks to animals. It's just like very like spiritual. I remember like one time I wanted to like cut a part of a tree off, and like they were about to cry. Like they were like, no, please don't do it. Like that would really hurt me. And I was like, okay, I won't do that because like their name is Ribri Tree. Like they're like part of trees, you know what I mean? So like they're definitely not going to um they didn't want that tree to be harmed. And they're just like such a beautiful person. I remember I got to hang out with Ribby a little bit alone, and like it was just really fun to like hang out with them, because like I could totally see them being famous, like, and being amazing, and like they just like they have such an awesome sound. Like their voice is so full of like just light, and it like the way that their music hits you, it's like slow warm rain. It's like really slow warm rain, like a purple sky. You're wearing a sweater, so it like doesn't even bother you, it doesn't even feel that bad, and there's just like this like warm wind just whipping on you. It's just like such a beautiful, just a beautiful melody that they have. Miranda, that right? My computer's trolling me, yo. Oh my god, y'all are so funny. Hold on, actually, my nose is kind of itchy. I'm about to powder it. I'll be right back. So, I keep like trying to tell y'all this story. So, anyways, so Ribri is a witch for sure, and they were like they were laughing when I said that they were a witch. I met so many. I met this other person that was a witch too, and they told me they wanted to know about a tarot card, and they were only in town for like one day. And they were like, I know that I was supposed to meet you. And I felt like I was supposed to meet them too. And it was weird because, like, when we both, like, it was weird. It was like being in the company of another witch, you know. And the thing is, like, I could tell that, like, this person was, her name was Lesbian. Her name was Lesbian. Um, and she was just so fucking cool. And I remember like we spilled mad water on the floor, and there was like dirt from everybody walking in and out. And she took out a white T-shirt and was like, "Hold on, I'm gonna make this more punk." And then she just like threw her white T-shirt on the ground and started like stomping it into like all of the mud and like just cleaning it up. So she cleaned her whole floor with her she cleaned her whole floor with her shirt and was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna wear this later." I was like, "Awesome." Um, but when I met her, it was crazy because like we both like looked at each other and like we had no words. Like we literally walked past each other so many times, didn't even speak. And yeah, I think it was more so I was like, I don't want to say I was scared of her, but I was aware of her, and I think that like that's what like freaked me out more. It's like I felt her presence. I could see it in her eyes when she played her guitar. It was like almost magical. Like she played her guitar once. Like, and mind you, she was in my house for like 24 hours, and like at one point in the day, she was like, I was like someone was like crying or yelling or something. There was like a fight, and she started to play her guitar like so quietly, but it just made everybody kind of like serene. And everyone kind of just like kind of dissipated, like just didn't want to fight anymore, just wanted to kind of like move past everything. And I think that that was like just really beautiful how it all kind of worked out, because it's like sometimes somebody playing fucking musical guitar and shit, like all up in classical guitar all up in your fucking face while you're trying to beef with somebody, like that's not really cool. But it wasn't that serious at the time. I think I was beefing with somebody, to be honest. I think she just like calmed me, and that like that's what made me like want to talk to her. And then we had like this whole we had such a good conversation. But Ribri, getting back to the story I was trying to tell you, Ribri used their hands. They picked up a piece of wood and they put it in the fire, and they started to they just started, to look at the fire, and they waved their hand like this, and they blew, and then all of a sudden I swear to you, it just sprang up, and there was a fire that went for the rest of the fucking day. Like nobody put it out because it was just like going. And I was bugging because like the fire had always been measly, but like I watched Ribri, and it was just crazy to me like how they just really got just like they just stood there, they touched a few things, and next thing you know, they didn't use lighter or anything. I'm like, there was not even a flame. It was just like smoking. The ground was smoking as if like it was like done. There was no fire. And the next thing you know, roaring fire. And I was like, Ribery. And Ribery looked at me and I was like, you're a witch. And Ribery smiled and started laughing. And then we talked about it later. But you know what? The thing is, there's different types of witches. There are witches that they're witches and they know it and they use it to kind of get by, and I think that that's the type of witch I am. I'm definitely not a witch that like tries to like use my sense or anything for like any one to like be hurt or anything. I'm not like a vengeful witch at all. I really try not. I don't even manifest like really like on anything other than like shit that I want to happen. So I'm very selfish in that way. But I'm always down to help a fucking another witch though. Like, and I've helped other witches before do shit, and it was really awesome. But at the same time, I met witches like Liz. Like there was something about her that just kind of, you know, just made me pause, just made me not even want to like fuck with her, to be honest. But like, I think that that's like a very powerful thing, to kind of have this way of like keeping people away from you. Because I think that was a time where I was also kind of jealous of my friend. So I think that I was like kind of like having like a hater ass like week or something, and I think that I was just like going through it. But that was just me. You know what I mean? But Ribery's just an amazing person. Like when they sing, it just like makes you want to cry. But they're definitely just an amazing person, in general. But when I definitely saw them doing things like when I've just seen their way with animals. Like animals will just be like animals just come to them. It's like some Snow White shit. I swear to God. Like homie will just be doing stuff, and I'll just see animals come to them. Mm, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think, like, in some ways, Miranda, I feel you. In other ways, I don't. Because, like, I don't want to, like, I just don't want any shit to come back on me. I think that's more of my apprehension towards like actual witchcraft and like versus me like just channeling spirits, because that's essentially what I do right now. I really don't cast spells or do any root work really. I'm more invested in just like using energy to like really see things in people's lives and really just like provide them with like spiritual healing. That's what I love to do. It's like I love people, and I love people and I love to talk to people. Like that's like the main thing of it for me. But I also know that like I have a gift for it. I know that when I talk to people, and it's always funny like whenever I do a reading for someone, because they're always like, "Wow, you were really spot on," and I was just like, "No, I know. Like that's like why I do this," So I appreciate you, but they're always like very surprised, and it's like I wouldn't like be telling you that I could read your cards if like I was shit at it. Like I mean, granted, like I've had reads where people where I felt like people were like looking for things that I couldn't provide. Sometimes people want advice about medical things, and I just don't feel like the cards like will be able to tell you specifically whether or not you should do something medical, but I don't want to personally tell you yes or no. And I think that more often than not, I try to tell people to like look after themselves if they, if they can afford to, or if that's more of the priority there. Um, yeah, that's cute. That's adorable. That like your twin brother has wild animals coming up to him. Yeah, no, Ribery definitely has a gift with animals and just all people. I think people are just really drawn to them. I had such a great time in New Orleans this time around, and like it really like fucks with me that I'm not there because like there's so much shit that I found, and I've just gotten so lazy recently. It just bothers me. There's really nothing to do here besides like walk around like this track, and it's boring as fuck. And I don't want to talk to any of the people that live in this building because they're all fucking dry as fuck. So like I really just have no like I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere. So like I have no desire to really like go out and like be active. But I'm really trying to like strive to do that, because I do believe that like exercise is positive, and you know, trying exercise, you know, whenever you want to do it is cool. I guess. I don't know. I don't really like to talk about exercise because I don't feel like it's like relevant. I think that if like you move, you fucking move. If you don't move, then you don't fucking move, and it like sucks. You know, if that's a problem for you, or if that's like something that bothers you. But I think that like telling people to exercise is like pointless. It's like if you're gonna exercise, you're gonna fucking exercise. Like there's no shaming you. There's no like telling you. It's like you do it because you want to do it. You know, I think sometimes like when I'll see like I'll say some Fitspo shit, you know what I mean? And I hate Fitspo sometimes because it's so fucking anti-health. It's like and like the thing is like I'm not exactly pro-health. However, I'm more about, you know, telling you to like figure it out, do you, you know, try and love the person you are, not the body you're in, because like your body is like forever changing. So like whatever the fuck you think is like awesome happening now, it's probably not going to be like the same. Like you see all these like older celebrities and shit fixing all their fucking bodies and stuff. It's because they can't cope with the fact that like their body is like, you know, going into, you know, it's aging. Like shit ages, you know. I'm not gonna look like this forever. I'm not gonna look like this forever. And like that is some real shit. But I think that it definitely comes from this need to kind of control, you know, the aesthetic and what people see, and control like how people care about you. Um, who's Rose? I know Mad Roses, so I don't know who you are, Rose, but what up? How are you? I was actually about to dip off, to be honest. What time is it? 45? I'm like 45 minutes in. So I think like I'm gonna dip and take care. But I appreciate everyone for coming through and saying hey, and just being here. But I think I'm gonna upload this to YouTube so everyone can like, you know, watch and get in like parts they miss. So yeah, take care. I love you guys. Bye.